Hello, hi. Thank you for being here. My name is Kaitlyn Michelle, and let's talk life and esoterics. So, in the vein of esoterics, I decided to pull an oracle card for all of you listening, all of us as a collective. And I pulled from the deck called Audacious Action Angels, and this is by Lorraine Rowe. And as I was shuffling, there were two cards that came out, so I decided to read both of them, and they both made me giggle a little bit. So the very first one that I flipped over was Wild Roses. And if you listened to my previous episode, you would know that I ended by talking about my brand new love for roses. The rose tea, the rose essential oil. What I forgot to mention is also using this technique that I had learned a couple of years ago and then kind of forgot about it, fell by the wayside. But using this technique called exploding roses, or sometimes burning roses, for putting into, and this is in the meditative state, so putting any sort of negative or traumatic or any sort of emotions or energy that I am ready to let go and have be transformed and transmuted. I put that into the rose that's in front of me, in front of my heart. Sometimes I have it maybe off to the side or something. And I put it all into the rose, and then I explode it. And depending on how I'm feeling, I'll explode it differently. Sometimes I will meditate with a match, a lighter. Sometimes I'll just completely explode it like a bomb going off for anything that's particularly traumatic that I'm allowing to just leave and be transformed. So that's another aspect of the rose that I've been using a lot. So it's funny to me that wild roses came up here. And this is what the booklet says on it. And I'm not reading the whole page, but just some excerpts. A wild rose blooms where its seeds land. The environment may not be ideal, but the plant dares to thrive and be beautiful. This is the essence of the intuitive life. It is all right to allow your wild energy to be in full bloom. Wild energy is about explosive life force, and it can be a beacon for others. You are flowering right now. So very positive. I hope that sends shivers down your spine, gives you goosebumps, gives you the encouragement that you need for whatever it is that you are facing right now. And then the second card that I flipped over also made me laugh, because it's this picture of this really majestic lion. And we are in full swing in Leo season right now. And on top of that, we are in the middle of Lionsgate, which is something that, if truth be told, I haven't really paid much attention to before. Now, I got married on Lionsgate a few years ago, and that is the 8th of August, 8/8. Now, I chose that date not because I knew that it was Lionsgate. I chose that date because both my favorite number and my husband's favorite number is the number 8. So that's how we landed on it, but we are also both Leo rising. We're Capricorn suns, both of us, and both of us are Leo rising, so it's just kind of funny. Anyway, so the text on this card is charge it. It's about charging ahead, and this I'm paraphrasing. Charging ahead, having courage, and taking leaps first and then asking for the net later. And I think putting these cards together, just the energy and messages behind both of them, I think we are being asked to really feel into what feels daring and risky and fun and adventurous what is growth oriented for us that we can do right now? What can you do right now that feels like that? If you feel called to share, leave a message on iTunes or here on Blog Talk Radio. And again, at some point, I will have the phone lines up. And so you can call in at a later date if you really, really want to share then. It's never a bad time to share. So yeah, just keep taking stock. Sit with these messages. Okay, so I mentioned Lionsgate before, and I also mentioned that's something that I wasn't super familiar with until recently. Yes, I had heard of it because I knew that I got married on Lionsgate. I just didn't know what it was at that time. And so a dear friend of mine brought it up to me earlier, I think just a couple days ago, actually. And she brought it up to me because she's very sensitive energetically, and she's really feeling it. So the Lionsgate portal is open between July 26th and August 12th. And according to this graphic that she sent me, someone's name on it, Alex Miles, so I think Alex Miles gets the credit for this. The sun in Sirius's synchronized rising is now clearly visible, appearing as two suns in the sky. This activates a gateway between the physical and spiritual worlds. On August 8th, remember my anniversary, this powerful stargate reaches its peak position, and Orion's belt moves into direct alignment with the pyramids of Giza, opening the cosmic 8-8 Lionsgate portal. The vortex allows supercharged light codes to flood our planet, so expect the following: higher conscious awareness, enhanced intuition and psychic abilities, unexpected endings, and new beginnings, feeling awakened, energized, and in alignment, seeing number sequences 1111, 333, 444, 888, receiving prophetic messages through dreams. And oh boy, I have something to share with you right after this concerning that. The ability to instantly manifest and alter your reality, frequent deja vu, synchronicities, and spiritual downloads, unexpected transition, and extremely positive transformation. Oh my gosh, that one is good to hear. Because sometimes transformation can be really scary, and just having the word positive in front of it helps to release some of that extra anxiety around it. Okay, and here's another graphic created by someone named Carrie M. Bush, talking about this Lionsgate portal, bringing abundant blessings, major transformation, soul expansion, accelerated growth, vibrational shifts, infinite power, cosmic reset, energy upgrades, spiritual downloads, light activations, miracles, prayers being answered, and the ability to instantly manifest a new reality. Incredible. Along with these, though, there could be some physical symptoms that show up. And oh my gosh, this is a list of 18, and it's so many. Basically, it covers everything, though, from anxiety to ear ringing, to headaches, to eye twitching, to sore throats, to fatigue, to feeling energy waves and movements. So it covers a lot of different things. So yeah, Lionsgate could be affecting you, because this is something, a lot of people talk about Mercury retrograde. Lionsgate happens every single year. And I would say for years I have been into esoterics, even if I have been undercover about it. I have always been doing my research. Remember, I'm the hermit. I stay at home and study. That's basically what I've done for a good portion of my life. But I hadn't really run across a lot of talk about Lionsgate myself. That doesn't mean that it didn't exist, but I just don't think that it's as talked about as Mercury retrograde. So anyway, I wanted to offer that just in case it helps, because sometimes we know that we're experiencing some weird energetic shift and it's unexplainable. And what are we supposed to do with that? Well, I think actually, other than saying like, oh, it was Lionsgate, there is that piece of the puzzle with what are you supposed to do with that. And this is the problem that I see in the quote unquote new age community, about being very passive about things. So whether it's Lionsgate or just going back to Mercury retrograde, because that's something I just referenced, just saying like, okay, that's the energy that's apparent right now. Okay, cool. Okay, well, that's so passive. What are you going to do with it? Because there's a time, the reason why we have cycles is because we are supposed to be putting our focus in different areas depending on the cycle that we are in. So Lionsgate, this is, just to sum up everything that I had just read really succinctly, it's about bridging the spiritual and the physical. And how do you feel called to bridge that? This is something for each of us to answer individually. And I think it's a very important part of our soul's journey in our lifetime to really figure out how to integrate the two, how to bridge the two. As simple as it sounds, as maybe boring as it sounds, it's so important. So answer this actually for yourself, or for me if you feel called. What does that look like? How are you thinking in your life you can go about bridging the spiritual and the physical? So I mentioned that I had a dream. I don't know how prophetic it was, but it's certainly one of those dreams that has stuck with me. You know how some dreams are just normal dreams, could be just us processing our days or whatever, but then other dreams, they feel different. There's just a different feeling, energy to them. And this is one of those dreams. I was watching a baby scorpion crawl down the wall. It was light brown, a little translucent. I'm watching it crawl down the wall, and then it's on my foot. And while it's on my foot, it starts biting in and burrowing under the skin. And now it's in my foot, and it's excruciating. And I'm watching the bump of this, where the scorpion is inside my foot, and it's moving, and it's excruciating, and I'm freaking out. And I'm screaming, get it out. It's inside me, get it out. And my dream went on from there. But in terms of the real, I think, prophetic, or the part that I need to pay real close attention to, was this part with the scorpion. And you know what, I ignored it for a day, and then it just kept eating away at me, for lack of a better term. And sometimes it's not, okay, first, here's the caveat. Sometimes it's not the best idea to Google some things. Just like, Googling health symptoms can really freak you out. Googling scorpion in dreams can really freak you out, because the only thing I could find was about enemies and black magic and death. None of these great things that I want to hear. And, I'm not expecting things to be all sunshine and rainbows all the time. There's duality in life. And that duality is beautiful because when we're on the valley, that slingshots us. It propels us to the peaks as well. So we do need both. However, this came the night after I posted my first episode, and I was feeling very vulnerable. But I put myself out there for the first time in a very long time, and then to have this dream, and then to be reading, oh gosh, they're enemies, and they're sending bad juju your way. That was really disheartening. However, when I sat with this and really tuned into my own instinct and intuition on this, I don't think it had to do with enemies at all. I don't think it had to do with black magic at all. I think that this was a way to grab my attention because it felt related to a previous dream that I had just a couple months ago, where it was a giant spider that bit the bottom of my foot. And it was painful then too. And I had a similar reaction also in the dream. I don't think that I quite utilized that information in my waking life the way that I needed to. And so this was a way of grabbing my attention to really shake me by the shoulders and say, hey, there's a big transformation that you are about to go through. And this is maybe the universe yelling at me. Maybe it's angels or my spirit guides. Or someone is trying to get my attention. Something is trying to get my attention. And I don't know if this transformation has to do with the Saturn return, although it is my Saturn return year, so I'm sure it has something to do with it. But I guess I am still very resistant to certain changes, and I really need to sit with what I'm still resistant to, because I can feel the resistance, but I have my blind spots. I think we all have our blind spots, and so I'm still not sure what I'm holding so tightly onto, because I am emerging. I feel like I'm emerging, but perhaps it's not fast enough, or perhaps it's not in all the areas that I need to be emerging in. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on about me in my dream, but it did feel pretty poignant, especially during Lionsgate, to be having a dream like that, and it did feel prophetic. So, I don't know. What about you? Have you had any dreams that have really stuck with you lately, or anything that feels really like it's delivering an important message? And again, I'm sorry I don't have the phone lines open. I will, I promise. So stick around when I do finally have that open, and you can call in. In the meantime, you can write in the comments here on Blog Talk Radio or on iTunes or wherever else this ends up. Whatever you're feeling called to share, I'd be really interested. Dreams are such a cool space to play in, and I have so many questions about how this works. But for example, maybe someone out there has this answer for me, because it's something that I have been thinking about lately. But when we are sleeping, are we in the astral plane doing work? Maybe work that is preparing us for what we need to do in our waking life? Or do we have the choice of going between different realms or different dimensions when we're asleep? I really want to learn more about how this works. And so anyone out there, if you have any more information on this, I would really love to hear from you. If you can reach out to me, that would be really interesting. So let's start to wind down here. The things that I'm into right now. So this last week I got a wax melter, but instead of melting waxes, I've just been putting essential oils in there. And I have to say, I love using this way more than using a traditional diffuser, like the water diffuser. I feel like the heat brings out a different tone in the scent. It expands it, and I feel like it diffuses the scent much further. So that is one of my joys that I'm really, really loving right now. And in terms of the oils that I'm using, I just started using an oil from a new company called, the company is not new, it's new for me, Art of the Root. And I used this oil called Life of Luxury, which is supposed to be an oil that helps support business ventures and business growth, which is important in our household because we are business owners. And so with new contracts that we're always doing, this is something that we feel called to having in our house, and it smells really good. And then the other thing that I've been really into that started this last week is using a foot pumice in the shower. I just got one of those cheap ones. Actually, it came in a pack of 6, I think. And I just felt called to do this, not only because, the past year and a half, 2 years, having pedicures hasn't really been on my to-do list, high on my to-do list as a new mom and with things being closed down and everything. So, of course, I wanted to do something to beautify my feet. But on top of that, I also was thinking in terms of Chinese reflexology and how all or most of our energy meridians are supposed to be running through our feet, which is why pressing or massaging different points on our feet are supposed to help us to heal the energy or move the energy in different parts of our body. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Chinese reflexology. It's something I'm kind of starting to explore right now. But just intuitively, I felt like using this pumice on the bottom of my feet can only help the health of my whole body. And so it has the dual action of health and beauty. So that's something that I've been really into lately. Maybe I'm pretty slow on the uptake. Maybe other people have been doing this for a while and I just didn't realize. But that's something that I just started to do within the last week. So that about rounds out the show. As we grow here, again, I hope to open the phone lines to callers, so please stick around for that. And expect me back here again next Tuesday. I hope you have a really great week, and take care. Mwah.